What's up YouTube? Today I wanted to show you my probably newest Memento version for post-burst protocol. Um, so first of all, before I'm gonna talk about the deck, um, the side deck is just throwing cards together, so don't mind this. I just went like 1 or 2 games and these were the first 15 cards I thought about, so you can definitely change this. Same for extra deck and same for the ratios, but so basically that you don't wonder. Before I'm going to talk about the ratios. As you can see, this is with Radiant Typhoon. The idea behind the Radiant Typhoon version is to just have a counterplay for Draco Tail, to have something to remove the traps with. And those cards are also 1-card starters into your Memento combo, so they're also good going first. And yeah, so you basically are able to set up a bigger or like you have more starters in general than in the pure list from last time, and you have a probably a little bit better push with the MSTs in your deck with the spells. And yeah, so let's just start into it. For the Mementos, it's just classic, I guess, but just 1 Dark Blade, because we don't want too many normal summons going second, because going second if your opponent has spell traps, those 2 are also normal summons, except you have MST in the graveyard. So and you don't need that many Dark Blades because you already have more starters than with 3 Dark Blades. And yeah, also just 1 Sleepy because we're cutting down some Mementos, so we don't want to open just Sleepy without any names. And the big part is probably the Radiant Typhoon engine. So I was testing a little bit with it, and first I was playing 2 of both. So you don't want to play 3 of each, just because it's like a little bricky. Then you don't want to open multiple names of those of the monsters. The only reason you have multiple spells is because those spells going second will always be MST as well. These 2, but you need your normal summon for this, so you don't want to use this. And yeah, that's why only 1 of each. You don't want to draw those. Like, the best card to start with is probably the Chant. And again, just 1 Vision, because as I already said, you don't want to open multiple copies of this engine. You probably just want to open like 3 to 4 Memento cards and 1 to 2 maximum of the Radiant Typhoon cards. And the only reason to play Vision is so that if you, like for example, you don't need MST, or you already got 1, you can also have another search target that either grabs you another MST or is a draw 2, which can also be fine. But I also could see a world where I just play 3 Chant or another monster. Yeah, by the way, for the Memento spell trap engine, I don't think I need to explain you why you play 3 of all of these. Also, you can see the Fallen Diverges in here. First of all, I think this card is really good in general. Like, you can dodge Flame with it, you can dodge Veilers, Imperms, anything with it. It triggers your Sleepy to pop. It triggers like a bunch of stuff. It also pops your Oran cards, which is pretty big. So, and it's just a removal going second, so I don't play it. And for targets, you play 1 Ecclesia and 1 Albion, because Ecclesia can recycle your Albion, and Albion just sets another one, so that's the idea behind it. 3 Super Poly, I was thinking about playing Droplet instead, but I just love Super Poly, and at first, Super Poly felt like a little bit better than Droplet for me. Yes, Droplet can dodge Flame, but Super Poly removes the board and is kind of an extender if you get hand trap like at some point. So I decided to just play Super Poly, and obviously 3 Fuva, because 3 Fuva is just a mandatory card. So basically, as I said, you need a way to counter Draco Tail, because like the other matchups are kind of fine. They're in the meta. Also, the Super Poly is not that bad into Malice. And if you play against Radiant Typhoon yourself, it can get rough actually, just because they have a bunch of spells obviously, and you just have 1 spell interruption, and this is Herald, so that kind of hurts. Also, you can see more Fusion and less Link in my extra deck. Obviously, in my extra deck, just SP Herald and these 3 XEs. For the Radiant Typhoon engine, I decided that these 3 are probably the best to play. You need to Goblin Biker, Bikabongo for the combo if you want to start with it to search Goblin. And those 2 you need going second or going first. You can also use this as a safe play for like hand traps. Like for example, you open Darkblade and one of these or Chant. You can just go into Bamboozling Ghost of Shadow into and then normal summon Darkblade. It first of all saves you from frugal loss if your opponent doesn't shotgun it on those 2 on board. And also you don't need the Tatsu effect in hand if you start with Darkblade. So it's kind of an option. And also if you go Ghost of Shadow, you don't need to go SP for being nip-proof because you're already kind of nip-proof. So yeah, that's just basically the idea behind the engine. You want to save your either save your combos up or you just go into a combo with those. And yeah, as I said, this is very good into Draco Tail. And you can also just like, this is just one of the idea of how you can play Memento Post-Burst Protocol if you want to. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if I want to play this or any version of Memento Post-Burst Protocol because the Draco Tail matchup is really, really annoying. And Malice is also still there without a ban list, so it is really hard to play Memento right now, even if it's possible. You probably just need to wait for a ban list, and then you maybe can play Memento if the ban list is good enough, but I don't honestly think so. Another thing you could do is playing the K9 cards, obviously, which also gets some new stuff. Just like this Xyz monster, you can also play K9 in Memento, just because Izuna is still a good card. Like before versus Draco Tail, it was like very good. If your opponent doesn't have like an out for the Velen or the Hound, you can just, or like with Velen, you just book a monster, crash into it, and go Zeus clear the board, which is an insane play. Then you can just play going in like in main phase 2 with Memento. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that like the pure Memento or any other version than Memento Radiant Typhoon or Memento K9 can probably do it versus full power Draco Tail post-burst protocol without a ban list and the rest. So as you see, with Malice being expected to still be in the format at the 300 twice, yes, you still need Lancers in your side deck, which is ass. Like 3 side deck slots are clocked for this. And you have some going first cards, and you also need like, I decided to play Perulia for Radiant Typhoon, for Elven Nodes, and just some like other, like all K9 versions in general. And Red Talenting C is obviously for Draco Tail. So yeah, by the way, for Super Poly targets, we have Madragon, Garura, Secretarian, and Dracostapelia. Also, you can go this with your fusion into your own Dracostapelia, not only with Super Poly, but I really like that card. So yeah, that's the idea. We can actually just maybe do some test hands like in a couple minutes. So to sum it up, you need a way to counter Draco Tail, which this deck can do, but this still not fix the problem. Like Draco Tail is still not like an easy matchup like with this engine. It's still very hard, so that's why I'm saying this is a little bit copium to play Memento probably. Also, Flame hits you hard if you don't have a dodge. Sting always hits you hard if you don't have a Ghost Spell, and you see there's no Ghost Spell. You probably want to play Ghost Spell. I could also see a world where you just cut Super Poly and just play Ash Ghost Spell in main deck to counter the traps, but I'm not sure about it. For going with first cards, you can also play different stuff. Like Ash Blossom probably, of course, because of Mulch armies, and these 3 can be changed with some shit, to be honest. Yeah, but that's it for the summon, like the sum up of the deck. Let's just hop into some test hands. Okay, so here we are with the first test hand. I'm gonna be honest, this is not a great test hand, obviously, because there's no 1-card starter in this hand. But this hand would be kind of decent going second with the Charmy and the Super Poly. If you draw a Fusion, which would be very, very great with this hand. But obviously, this engine doesn't play well into boards, but the non-engine is kind of good, and the Fusion makes it a lot easier. But we are deciding to go first here. So in this hand, the thing is, if you open Sleepy and like anything else, you always want to start with normal summon Sleepy, in my opinion at least. Because probably think there are being more people playing like Ash Blossoms and stuff like that than Valor Impulse or like Valor Imperm, in my opinion. So if you normal Mace, like the average player always know like Mace is a bad starter, so they will always gonna stop Mace, I guess. But it depends. Like, let's just say we are starting with Sleepy. Like, obviously both of the starters like lose to a hand trap. So actually no, let's start with Mace, because this makes it a little bit easier if it resolves, but this is more risky in my opinion. So you start with Mace. Mace resolves for some reason. You could grab Fusion, which is probably the best way with this card in hand. But you'll just not extend with the Fusion, because in this scenario, you use those 3 cards on your hand anyways. So what you're gonna do is use Special Sleepy with the effect. And then you use Sleepy and Akiron for a Twin Dragon. And then Twin Dragon will trigger to pop, adding Tatsu. And just anything you want. Probably just... let's just add a combat creation. And then the Twin Dragon and the Akiron will trigger. So basically Akiron comes back itself, and you want Sleepy because you want to pop it. Then you special summon Tatsu. Then you can go Tatsu effect. Popping. Oh no, my bad. Oh no, it's okay, it's okay. You will just send Goblin. Just anything. You can also send Garrick, but we still have Fusion to with the Creation King you can send. So we just send Goblin and Anguish, and that's it. You could also trigger Akira, or like pop Akira here, but there's nothing in your grave you want to add back. So what you're doing now is we go Fusion, shuffling back the Mace because you want to add it back, the Tatsu, and just the Twin Dragon. To special out the Creation King, and Creation King trigger. And by the way, even if we get nipped, like we still have a name in hand and Fusion, so this is all good. So Creation King will dump us Garrick, another Creation King, and just anything. What you could also do is you're not sending Creation King, cause you're not using the Garrick for the Sleepy back, so you're just sending a Fear Spell and just the Dark Blade, and then Garrick will trigger to get reborn and grabbing back the Fear Spell on summon, so you can activate the Field Spell. You go Fusion here, pop this, grabbing the Bone Party, Akiron will trigger as well as the Field Spell. You get this back, and a Reborn for this. This will trigger to search for the Mace. And obviously there's right now no Radiant Typhoon in our combo, but what you can do is so basically right now we have 3 names in grave and some on field. So basically the first option would be to either go into an Exi summon into the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, or you go Anguish, pop, or like not pop Anguish, you pop the Sleepy to reborn the Goblin. Then Sleepy will trigger to send you another Anguish. And you can link those 2 away for your Herald. And now we already have 6 names in grave, so we can still go Bone Party, pop this, special summon another level 3, which is Anguish in this case. So we go into this, into this, which is ass, because now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now there's no Anguish in grave, but you got Anguishes under here, so it doesn't matter really. And you're gonna set this, and then end phase. This will come back by the Field Spell. And then this is your board. Obviously, this is just like Death Stand, uninterrupted, you can do whatever you want. well, this would be like probably the end what you want to go for. Yeah, obviously the draw one can hurt you if your opponent draws an incredible card. But you also draw a card which can be an engine card, follow up, because you're not playing Anthrop. So yeah. For the second hand, we have the Chant, Super Poly, Fusion, Anguish, and another Fuvolos. So those 2 cards are just sticking to our hands. In this hand again, you want to use this as an extender, because if you start with it, you could go for Gabonga into Goblin, but you just want to do this if you're not having any Memento starters in your hand. And if you go Gossip Shadow right now with this, you can normal summon Anguish, search Tatsu, but then you're just cooked, except if you use Fusion and then Reborn Tatsu, but this is ass. So we are just normal summoning Anguish, like normally. And you can go into full Memento combo with this. I'm not going to show this because, let's just say, like you know the combos, right? So if this gets interrupted, you can still go into Chant, search for literally anything. You could also go the gambling way. You search this, special this, search the vision, and then go vision to draw 2. Nice. Boom. This would be the gambling way. But if you don't want to gamble, what you could do is you put this back. And instead of you search this, you search obviously the other one that searches a monster, special summon the one that searches a monster, and then search this. And then you still can search this and go for the gambling way. And in this case, we have a fusion. So, yeah, I don't know why I did that. You can still go gambling way, my bad. And you go into Gabonga. So let's say you gambled with fusion, but you drew crap. Like you drew double Fua for some reason, okay? You discard the Super Poly. And then you still search with this. Detach 1. Oh no, never mind. On summon it is. It triggers on summon. My bad. No detach. You search a goblin. And then you still got fusion for those 2. Into full Memento combo. And even, my bad, I misclicked. And even, let's say your fusion get impulsed. This stays on board. This is engrave. You can still go fusion, pop, search Bone Party, and still do some stuff. So this is basically a way of abusing the Wedding Typhoon cards as like extender, or if you're like, for example, if you're not opening any starters, you can also go into a starter with it, and it also helps you a little bit going second with the MSTs. Like for example, in Descent going second, you could start with MST, pop an important back row, and if you then go into Eldam, you still can search the monster or another MST. So that's like some cool shit you can do. And if in this case you even have breakout to dodge some stuff, like if this would be negated or something with like Valor Imperm, yeah, that's basically the idea of the package. Obviously, we can go back to the deck list real quick. You have a lot of ways to play it. You can play more Radiant Typhoon cards. You can play less. You can play Kanan instead of Radiant Typhoon. But I liked this version the most. So yeah, definitely don't forget to write down your opinion on this version into the comments. If you have any questions or ideas to upgrade this deck, or any questions about the deck, you can just ask me in the comments. I'll try to answer anything as possible. Also, you can now become a channel member on my channel because we reached the 500 subscribers. So first of all, thank you for that. And yeah, that's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye bye.